Good evening, Caps fans. Pre-game will be coming up in just a couple of minutes here at Bob Suter's Capital Ice Arena, so feel free to stay right where you're at as the Caps face off against the Green Bay Gamblers here this evening. Again, that's pre-game coming up in just a couple minutes here on Caps Radio on YouTube.
Toyotathon is on. Time to make the holidays picture perfect with a new Toyota, like Camry, Tacoma, Grand Highlander, and more. Celebrate the season with a new Toyota. We're gonna need a bigger tree.
Right now, you can get 3.99% APR financing plus $1,000 cash back on a new Tacoma when you finance through Toyota Financial Services.
'Tis the season for Toyotathon.
Toyota, let's go places.
Slam it home. Steele scored! Good evening, Capitals fans, and welcome into the broadcast booth here at Bob Suter's Capital Ice Arena for another exciting night of Capitals hockey here on Caps Radio on YouTube, as well as over on Flow Hockey. Tonight should be a great one as the Capitals host interstate rival Green Bay Gamblers here this evening, all part of the Wisconsin Cheese Cup presented by Klondike Cheese. And just a reminder that our broadcast tonight is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Come and explore our unmatched high-quality products all at everyday low prices and see how easy creating the space to match your taste can be. Discover your new Floor & Decor, now open in Monona and online at flooranddecor.com. Coming up in pregame here, we'll hear from a couple of players on tonight's matchup and on last week's. A little bit of a recap there for you. We'll get to your lineups as well. It's all leading up to puck drop. 7:05 start here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena here this evening, but we'll start with some storylines. Rainers Rollers returns to the lineup for the first time since December 9th against the Dubuque Fighting Saints when the Capitals won 6-2 in that matchup. He'll return to the lineup, and he'll have some familiarity next to him. Chris Delaney with the UMass Lowell logo next to his name, now committing earlier this week. On his wing, Sam Capel will join them on the first line with Austin Bernovic out due to participating in the All-American game on Tuesday, a mandate from the league. So you'll see some notables out throughout the league here this evening, including a couple in this one as well. Diego Johnson making his Capitals debut this evening. Had an upper body injury at main camp earlier this year. We kind of chatted about his return to the Capitals here after that, as well as he was the 2023 second-round draft pick of this Capitals squad in the Phase 2 draft. He was actually the third second-round pick behind Carson Musser, heard of him, Austin Bernovic, heard of him, as he's going to be a big part of this Capitals team down the stretch of the season. He's lined up with Kuzma and Brink here this evening. It's the fourth matchup between the Capitals and Green Bay this season, and we'll get to it at 7:05. We're going to send it to a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear from players from the Capitals about tonight's matchup as well. Take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard and standings here in the USHL. It's Capitals hockey on Caps Radio on YouTube and on Flow Hockey. It's Capitals hockey here on the Capitals Radio Network and on Caps Radio on YouTube. It's the pregame show, all leading up to puck drop at 7:05. Capitals facing off against the Green Bay Gamblers here this evening. The Capitals come in with a record tonight of 15-8-4-2 on the season, good enough for fifth place here in the Eastern Conference. On the other side, it's the Green Bay Gamblers come in possession, or in a tie, I should say, of second place in the East with Muskegon. 18-7-3-1 on the season are Green Bay, as it's the familiarity between these two sides that will be a big one here tonight as the two teams face off for the fourth time here this season, as we get ready to take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard presented by our friends at MadCapsHockey.com. MadCapsHockey.com, your one-stop shop for all things Capitals here this season. Last night, a whole bunch of postponements throughout the league, including here in Madison, but the Dubuque Fighting Saints were able to take care of business against the National Team Development's U17 by a score of 6-1 to extend their first-place lead here in the Eastern Conference. Muskegon upsets Fargo for only their fourth regulation loss of the season, 7-3. That one at Trinity Health Arena in Muskegon. Taking care of business on the road at Sioux Falls with an 8-5 underway already, as the Capitals, of course, facing off against Green Bay. That one coming up at the top of the arrow, but the Youngstown Phantoms already in front, 2-1. That one at the beginning of period number 2 in Des Moines, as the Phantoms look to take home win number 1 of the weekend. It's kind of odd weekend as they've rescheduled things for them on that side. 1-0, actually 1-1. Michael Barron just scored to even things as the U17s facing off against the Dubuque Fighting Saints. Waterloo up 3-2 at the end of period number 1 against the Chicago Steele. All square at 0 aside. 5 minutes to go in Lincoln between Tri-City and the Lincoln Stars. 1-0, Omaha up on Sioux Falls at the moment. At Denny Sanford Premier Center, and Fargo up at the end of 1 in Muskegon. A whole bunch of other cool games going on around the league, but your focus, of course, is here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena, as we will take a quick look at your press clippings from this week. Really, it's an important series, and I think the players touched on that, including taking care of business in Sioux City last week. So here are your press clippings. Here from James Hong, Jack Henry, Ethan Elias, and newcomer Diego Johnson. All right, Jack, obviously you scored 2 goals last week. When your goals come, they kind of come in bunches. What did you see on each of your 2 goals on Saturday night?
A lot of net, 2 good net front screens. That was really, I could tell the goalie was trying to look around some bodies and just found the back of the net that way.
How important do you think your 2 goals were the time that you scored them?
I mean, I'd say pretty important. We were playing a good team, and obviously going into the third period, down a couple of goals, and started to pick up some momentum late, and obviously the timing worked out well.
You've been a mainstay as a quarterback on one of the power play units this season. What do you think has been the biggest difference from the power play struggles the team had for a lot of the season to the success that the team had last weekend?
Kind of just trusting the process, trusting the players you're out there with, letting the puck do the work, moving it around quickly, and seams will open up, and then you just kind of take your chances as they come.
The Caps are 1-2 against Green Bay this season, and with the second half underway, how important is this weekend series to kind of set the tone for Madison, which has 4 matchups with Green Bay after this weekend still remaining?
Yeah, no, it's a big one. Obviously, the second half of the season here, it's pretty tight in the standings with the teams ahead of us, and they're one of them. So obviously it's a big couple of points on the line here for us and can help us get us in better position as we head towards the end of the season.
Unreal. Thanks, Jack. Capitals are 2 wins away from equaling their total last season. As a player who was here last season and obviously to this year, what do you think's been the biggest difference?
I'd say the culture. I think a lot of guys are a lot closer with each other. Goaltending's a huge part of it. I'd say we have 2 really strong goaltenders, a 1A, 1B. I think as a whole, everyone kind of feeds off each other, and I think it's just a big difference from last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Team picks up a big win on Saturday night. We just talked with Jack Henry a little bit there. After falling late on Friday, can you touch on the resilience of the team to kind of come back after being down 3-1 entering the third?
I mean, yeah, after the game Friday night, I think people were a little pissed off and kind of came to play right away. We fell behind a little bit, but I don't think it was a lack of effort or anything for us. I think it was just a couple bad bounces, and we found our way in the third period and came back and won, which is good.
Unreal.
Thanks, for the team. Yeah. Thank you.
James Madison was able to come from behind on Saturday night. At points this season, it really seems that it doesn't matter if the team's ahead, tied, behind, heading into the third. What are your thoughts on the win on Saturday and kind of the idea that it's not really over for this Caps team at any point in the game?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about our team. Every game is a battle. Every game, anything can happen, and I think we stuck with it. And going into third, being down a couple goals, I think none of us really gave up, and none of us we all trusted in our system and how we can play. So I wasn't surprised that we came back, and really, I think we're really capable of doing that every game.
You've been on a roll since the end of October and have been averaging over a point per game in that stretch. What has been the biggest factor in continually finding the score sheet and being a piece that's contributing every night for this team?
I think just being fortunate enough to play with some good players, and just honestly not really thinking about it too much, just kind of going out and trying to play as hard as I can, and just really just trying to stick with my play, and it just happened to come, fortunately. But yeah, I think just the biggest thing was not really being too worried about it, too focused on it, and yeah, good things will happen then.
Intrastate rival Green Bay coming to town this weekend, but even more importantly, a team sitting a couple points in front of the Capitals. Can you touch on the importance of taking care of business against an opponent you'll see 9 times total this year?
Yeah, especially if you see a team that often, you kind of build a little rivalry. So, I think this weekend is a huge one, especially coming into the second half of the season. Every point matters. I think we're only a couple points behind second place or something like that. So, going forward, I think every game matters, especially a team like Green Bay who's ahead of us.
Unreal. Thanks, James.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Diego. First, welcome back to Madison. I guess, how's this transition been from the AJ down to here?
It's been awesome. All the guys have been super welcoming, super nice. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far.
As you get set to make your debut here with the Caps this weekend, I guess what has the biggest change been for you so far?
I'd say just the speed. This league's really fast. Practice has been really competitive and stuff. People are pushing each other to be better. So, yeah, it's been good. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Getting called up to the league for the first time, what do you want to show?
I just want to show I can take on any role that Andy wants me to play here. I try to execute that to the best of my abilities. So.
Committed to play at the University of Wisconsin and getting to play here in Madison, how exciting is it for you to get to play junior in the same city that you're committed to play college in?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, if all things go well, I could be here for the next 5 years or so. So, yeah, it's super exciting to know that I can be a part of this city for a while.
Perfect. Thanks, Diego. Back here in the broadcast booth, it's time for your starting lineups presented by Bergstrom Automotive. For Green Bay, it's Nemec, D'Angelo, and Poitras up front. Gallucci and player on the back end, Gavin Moffitt in between the pipes. For the Gamblers, who are led by head coach and general manager Mike Leone. On the other side for the Capitals, it's Brink, Kuzma, and Johnson making his Capitals debut. Michaud and Elias on the back end, and Carson Musser in between the pipes. Capitals are led by head coach and general manager Andy Brandt. Puck drop right around the corner here on Capitals Radio Network and on Caps Radio on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Don't turn that radio dial, and we'll be on Flow Hockey when we return. It's Capitals Hockey live here on Flow Hockey and on Caps Radio on YouTube. Thanks for joining us here this evening as the Capitals set to face off against the Green Bay Gamblers for the 4th time this season. Green Bay got 2 of the first 3, 2 of them also in Green Bay, though, as the series evens, as we're all set to get ready to play here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena here in Middleton. My name's Drew Steele. I'll be captaining the ship going through your ear ocean all evening long as the Capitals look to keep climbing up the Eastern Conference standings, currently sitting in 5th place as the Capitals, of course, facing off against the Gamblers, and we are underway at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena. The Capitals will travel right to left across your radio dial and Flow Hockey TV screen. Up that far side, Ethan Elias gets it to the newcomer, making his USHL debut, Diego Johnson. What to expect from Johnson, I asked head coach and general manager Andy Brandt that question earlier as Elias sends a shot towards the goal, deflected wide, a whole bunch of speed, a whole bunch of skill, and it makes sense with that why he's playing with the players he is. He's with Kuzma and Brink on line number 2 tonight. We'll go through your lineups here at the first whistle of tonight's game. Peterson at the point for Green Bay up the near side wall. It's D'Angelo, acquired in that Jackson Hollum trade a couple seasons back. Puck goes out of the zone. Peterson unable to hold. Capitals will make a couple of changes 45 seconds into tonight's game. Musser corrals the puck into the corner on the far side. Elias unable to hold. Rice continues things up that far side, though, and the Capitals clear all the way down into the offensive end. Long will go and attack. Peterson will play it up the near side wall where one-time Capital Blake Beshin able to intercept for the Gamblers and gets things going backwards, that time to the defenseman Rasmus Larsson. We get a whistle, and the puck will come outside as the Capitals line up as follows here this evening. It's Delaney, Rullers, and Capel up front on line 1. Brink, Kuzma, Johnson line 2. Brandt, Hong, and Nagel on line 3 with Long, Rice, and O'Donnell cleaning things up for the Capitals tonight. Brendan Lamb, the extra forward for Madison. Michaud and Elias on pair 1. Henry, Barloggy pair 2. Jamison, Toby pair 3. And James Mackey, the extra defenseman tonight for Madison. Carson Musser in goal. We'll get to his stats at the next whistle. For Green Bay on the other side, Nemec, D'Angelo, and Poitras. Lutz, Russell, Shagabe, Humphrey alongside a couple of others in Katzen and Beshin, with Brender, Hughes, and Danilov cleaning things up. Carconi, the extra forward for the Gamblers. Galucci, player pair 1 with Larson, Peterson pair 2. O'Malley, Baker pair 3. Garen Ludwig, the extra defenseman for Green Bay. Gavin Moffitt getting the start over Adam Guyon here this evening. It's been Moffitt's net as of late, and Coach Mike Leone choosing to take that path of, hey, it's his net, you got to earn it back. And Gavin Moffitt going to take advantage of it. Of course, Adam Guyon at the World Junior Championships for the past couple of weeks with Team Slovakia there. They avoid relegation, at Rainers Rullers, who's making his return to the Capitals lineup here this evening. A new look third line, and really that's what Rainers Rullers brings back to the lineup. He slots in at that first line center, and it allows the Capitals to be more deep up front. Diego Johnson kind of adds to that mix as well. James Hong on the third line with Max Nagel. That's 2 of the top 3 scorers for Madison. Actually, 2 of the top scorers in the lineup tonight for Madison. Austin Bernovic out due to the All-American game as Jamison plays it off the end wall. He gets it from his defensive partner Toby, and Nagel up the far side clears out towards center ice. Brandt gets a deflection, I believe, along the way. They rule so as Moffitt will play up the far side wall, holding things in for Green Bay and turning things over in the neutral zone as Garen Ludwig. Capitals right back on it. Kuzma on the near side, half wall a shot, ramps up onto the body that time of player, and you can tell visibly in some pain as Mackey holds on the near side wall. Elias pinches down, plays to the middle, and now a player behind the defense. It's Blake Beshin. Beshin, the UMD commit, spins back. Of course, played with Youngstown last year, was part of that trade that brought Jake Rossi to Madison, and it shot from Beshin deflects out towards center ice. Beshin actually the leading scorer for this Green Bay squad. William Hughes with a shot on, kicked into the corner by Carson Musser. 16:36 to go, period number 1, as Andrew Kuzma starts up the far side wall. Larson lifts the stick of the Capital player to negate icing. Puck never gets past the goal line anyway as Peterson starts up the far side wall. Brender, acquired from Sioux Falls this offseason, down into the corner now for Hughes. Into the near side now, Jack Henry goes to work against Hughes as another Capital joins him. Therefore, it is Andrew Kuzma up the near side wall, held in by Peterson. Larson on the top of the far side circle, shot goes wide. Caroms out towards neutral ice, where the Gamblers will have to regroup. Losing an edge that time is Peterson, long into the offensive zone. Rice just into his feet into the far side, where Jack Henry will pick things up at the point. He tries to get it back to Charlie Michaud. Michaud unable to gather that one in until it's out of the zone. So the Capitals have to touch up, allowing Green Bay first dibs on possession on that far side half wall. Nemec, acquired from Omaha this fall, forward there for the player in Poitras. A penalty upcoming on Green Bay. It looks like Nemec will be heading to the box for a trip as Aiden Long deep inside the offensive zone will get that puck tied up. Green Bay picks up in the Capitals to their first power play of the night. Capitals power play comes in at 17.4% on the season, 14th in the USHL, while on the other side 70.1% is the Green Bay PK, 15th in the USHL. Nemec for tripping sends the Capitals to their first power play of the night. 15:29 remains here in the period. Capitals out there. Johnson, Hong, Brandt, Henry, and Kuzma. See what this Madison power play can do. Went 3 for 6 last weekend. 2 of the goals coming from players out on the ice at the moment. Henry with the game-tying goal on the power play, and Kuzma brought the Capitals back within 1. At the time, it was 3-2. Then just a couple moments later, Henry got the game-tying goal. Eventually, Henry would score the game-winning goal at full strength as well. Hong up the near side, far side now to Kuzma. Into the offensive zone via Diego Johnson. Backhanded out of the zone, but held in for a moment by Johnson and out towards neutral ice. Johnson joins this Capitals team after putting up nearly a point per game in the AJHL with the Sherwood Park Crusaders, who are currently sitting second place in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. Henry, near side now for Brandt. Brandt will start up the wall, looking for options. Tried to feed it to the middle there for Kuzma, and eventually it'll be Russell playing up the near side wall and gives it right back to the Capitals forward. Kuzma trying to backtrack for Henry as the Capitals start changing their units. Through neutral ice now is Hong, as half a unit 1, half a unit 2 on the ice. Hong in the far side corner tries to send it up that far side wall. Green Bay will say, yeah, you go ahead and send it up that far side wall. We'll help you do it. Sends it all the way down where Carson Musser's the next to touch it. Poitras puts some pressure on Musser. Musser plays to the near side corner as Brink leaves there for Michaud. Michaud's got an expanded role with Felicio leaving the lineup. As you'll see it here, quarterbacking one of the power play units. He's been rotated in with Jack Henry over the past couple of weeks, but you see he's out there now, and really it's the Capitals next in line for that quarterback role of unit number 2. Delaney looking for options here. It's Delaney, Brink, Rullers, Michaud, and on the far side, Sam Rice. Rullers, of course, returning. I wonder what will happen with the centerman role here, as Rice had kind of taken that role on the power play. Far side, Delaney down low for Rullers. Now on the near side half wall for Rice. Michaud up top to the far side now. Brink on possession. Brink looks for options. Up top, Michaud. Michaud sends one towards the goal. It deflects wide. Rullers leaves there for a moment. Michaud gets it back. Far side, Brink back. Michaud up top. Shot deflects into the corner. Capitals still have 4 forwards onto the ice. Sam Rice hustles to the bench to get things all squared away as we are back at full strength on both sides. Capitals 0 for 1 on the man advantage tonight. D'Angelo, the captain for this Green Bay squad, settles down on the far side circle. Shot, rather it was a feed back door looking for Blake Beshin. Just a little too errant, a block shot there by Ronan O'Donnell. The highly IQ'd hockey player O'Donnell gets a shin pad on that. Forces Green Bay to reset. Madison will be able to take care of a breakout up that far side wall, at least get things out of the zone before Green Bay shovels it right back in. 12:49, period number 1. Our score still scoreless between the two sides as Long on this fourth line for the Capitals. Of course, a couple of Capitals that you've seen in the third or second line here at points here this season having to move down a little bit, but you see Coach Andy Brandt, he'll play all of these lines equally. He likes to roll 4, and I'm sure that's been relayed along to these players. Long towards that far side corner after he achieved the red line. Larson looked to play it up that far side wall, and nice play by O'Donnell to just get in the way of that passing lane as he'll go for a change now. In the feet that time of the forward for Green Bay as the Capitals back the other way. Brink trying to find the one-time shot. Brink looking for his first goal in a long time. Johnson with a shot. Rebound sits out front. Capitals trying to whack that one home. Eventually Moffitt hops on top of it with the glove for a whistle. 11:55 to go, period number 1. Our score still scoreless between the two sides, which means it's a great time to take a look at our goaltending matchup presented by the Capitals social media pages. Stay up to date with all things Capitals by following at Madcaps Hockey on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Carson Muster in between the pipes tonight for Madison. 8-3, 2-2 on the season. A .269 goals against average and a .902 save percentage on the season. Comes in with a career record of 15-8-4-2. This is his best year of his career, as he's only gotten better after his 2 seasons at the U.S. National Team Development Program. 1-0 against Green Bay this season. It was a 4-goal performance for Green Bay, but the Capitals still were able to take care of business that night. An .833 save percentage. He's actually coming off of a loss, though had won 4 straight prior to last Friday's loss in Sioux City. Only gave up 3 goals in the performance while still putting up a .900 save percentage. On the other side, it's Gavin Moffett, 4-3, 2-0 on the season, 3-3, 2 goals against, and an .891 save percentage to his credit in his first season here in the USHL. Moffett had really an opportunity to take control of the net here in Green Bay, and sure enough, what do you do? Just that helped Green Bay to a last 10 record of 6-1-3. Of course, we'll combine the shootout and overtime records there. 11:53 to go, period number 1, as a shot from the far side comes off the stick of Brink and caroms up into the netting. I mentioned Brink's looking for his first goal since October. In fact, it's October 14th here at home. Scored 5 goals in his first 4 games here this season with the Capitals. Since then, nothing for the Maple Grove, Minnesota native. Actually has played the exact same amount of games, 26 that he played last season. In those 26 games last season, 18 points. In the 26 games here this season, also 26 points. Diego Johnson, the first one to the hash marks, down in the corner for Madison as he negates icing, as Green Bay will eventually take over on possession and clear things back out to neutral ice. Brandt through neutral, tripped up, no call comes as it'll be Galucci picking up in the far side corner. Up the near side, a nice job to bait him into that one by Michaud. Rebound sits out front. Nagel unable to slam it home. It trickles into the corner where Charlie Russell turns it over. Hong up top. Elias, far side shot. Rebound sits out front. Still there, and the Capitals unable to shovel that one home. Madison was able to get one in on Moffett, but nothing after that is Julian Lutz in his return from the World Junior Championships back in the lineup for Green Bay. Able to get that one out as Green Bay turns it over at neutral, and the Capitals right back on the prowl. Brandt down into the far side corner. It goes for Hong as he rung it around the kick plate there. Brandt up that far side looking to get it to Barloggy, but it'll be Tanner Brender that takes over for Green Bay. Max Nagel with a nice job to keep it in. Noah Barloggy assists him in that effort, but that's where the Gamblers can take over on that far side half wall, clear things out towards neutral, where the Capitals will bring it right back into the offensive zone. So I thought, at least, instead it's Misha Danilov on the far side. A nice hit by Barloggy, with Henry taking the brunt of a hit as he relayed it along the near side wall to Long. Long chips things out towards neutral ice as Tanner Brender spins things back up on the stick of Rasmus Larson. His shot sticked into the corner by Carson Musser. Libor Nemec there, the former Omaha Lancer, and he actually did not play in the World Junior Championship, similar to Patrick Berzinch, as Musser holds for a whistle at 9:41 in period number 1. Similar to Patrick Berzinch, he had actually played last season in the World Junior Championships for Slovakia, and Omaha will be the first to tell you the World Junior Championships was his audition for the Omaha Lancers. They brought him in after that, and the Capitals, of course, rather the Lancers in that case, really liked his performance, brought him in. Eventually he makes his way to Green Bay via trade this offseason. Near side, Peterson up the near side wall for D'Angelo, the captain for the squad, relays it along for Green Bay, where Nathan Toby goes into a scrum in the corner alongside his defensive partner Colton Jamieson. Up the near side wall, Long deflects that one out towards neutral ice. 9.5 to go in period number 1 as we remain scoreless between these two sides. Nemec up the near side half wall, tried to center it for Poitras, unable to find him. Both of these teams towards the top half of goals per game in the Eastern Conference, but overall in the league as well. Capitals tied for 6th in that category. Green Bay right in the middle of the pack at 9th, but the key category here tonight is goals against per game. Green Bay 3rd in that category. Madison in 2nd out of 16. Rice on the far side gets it now to the near for Aiden Long, who chips it down to the far side corner. Looks like Toby got a stick up high, as no call would come from him, as O'Donnell wrestled down to the surface by the Green Bay defense. Therefore, Green Bay on that one was Brady O'Malley. Held in at the line by Rollers. Delaney Feeds it to the near side now for Elias. Elias looking for options. We'll just send it down to the corner where Rainers Rollers can wait for it. Delaney, far side half wall up top. Mackey with a shot into the logo on the chest of Gavin Moffitt, who holds for a whistle. 8:29. Period number 1 remains. What a night here at Bob Suiters Capital Ice Arena. You see it on your screen here tonight. You'll see a couple of random mascots cross by. It's our Mascot Mania presented by American Family Insurance. We appreciate all the mascots joining us tonight, whether it's from our partners at Urban Air. Sport Clips, I think, is walking around, as well as 2 men and a truck. Otherwise, we do have some nice teams from around the area. I believe the Lake Country Dockhounds in the building. As Louis, their mascot, here as well. Held in on the near side. A nice job by Mackey. Now Delaney on the half wall shot. That time goes wide. Elias will play it down to the corner. It goes past the stick of Sam Capel. Mackey goes down to pinch. Capitals retain possession in the offensive zone, at least for a moment, before Josh Player able to pick the pocket of Rainers Rollers and just rainbow that one over the Capitals defense all the way back where the Capitals retreat inside their own defensive zone. Elias up the far side. Kuzma fresh off the bench into the offensive zone. Thought about going back and set Kuzma with a shot, and it goes just into the glass. Karams out to the stick of a Gambler player, and now it's Blake Beshin in on a 2-on-1. Beshin feeds it across. No one home. Or rather, someone was home, but he was tied up. It was Lev Katzen. Johnson, far side now for Brink. Brink leaves there for Henry. Henry towards Brink again. Puck sits out front. Johnson with the chance. The Capitals aren't able to slam it home. The puck just sits there. Green Bay able to skate that one out. 7.5 to go in the period, and what a chance that was for Madison. It sat there, was waiting for it. Diego Johnson had his first USHL goal right there. Just wasn't able to slam it home. As the Capitals will go make a line change now. You'll take a look on it on Flow Hockey. Johnson has his stick down. Maybe that one deflects in. Instead, Larson sends it back towards the slot. Capitals scramble for it. Nothing able to happen there as the Capitals have that face-off just outside their bench and outside their defensive zone. Won by Green Bay. Sent all the way down where Carson Musser will play it over to Jack Henry. Henry to Hong. Hong forward. Hong has the active longest streak in the league on points this season as Nagel into the offensive zone puts some pressure on Lucas Peterson. 13 games is this streak for James Hong. It actually started against this Green Bay squad back on November 18th. It was the first of 2 straight in Green Bay right before the Thanksgiving break, the one-day break for Madison. Longest active streak in the league, as I mentioned, but it's also the longest streak period of the league. The next longest, 11 games by Eric Paulson in Dubuque. That streak was from late October to late November. Shagabe, Mr. Hockey in Minnesota last season, gets it to the near side for Charlie Russell, a new addition for this Green Bay squad. Russell uncommitted, but he's from Houghton, Michigan, the home of Michigan Tech. And it's icing on the Gamblers, 6:15 to go, period number 1. Russell an age out here for Green Bay, adding some age to this roster. Of course, they have some young studs on this team, but at the same time, you want to mix in those older vets in the league. And Charlie Russell does that for this Gambler squad. Faceoff will be to the left of Moffitt in goal as it's won back by the Capitals. Long with his shot gloved once again by Moffitt. Green Bay just wanted a whistle. Moffitt will hold on to it. Green Bay able to make the rest of the changes that they so needed. 6:11 to go in period number 1. Still scoreless here at Cap Ice. The first game here at Bob Suiters Capital Ice Arena since the new year. Of course, last night was supposed to be a Capitals game against Green Bay. The weather, of course, affecting that one for the safety of our players, staff, and fans here at Bob Suiters Capital Ice Arena. Capitals postponed that one. Date still to be determined on that. For your Green Bay fans who had their game postponed on Tuesday as well, that game got rescheduled to March 13th. So if I'm breaking any news to you, congratulations to me on that. Nothing better than breaking some news is Jamison up the near side, trying to bring it into the offensive zone. Instead, it's taken off of his stick, and now a 2-on-1 back the other way. Danilov tried to thread the needle to Carconi in the slot. Instead, it comes all the way to the near side corner. Hughes unable to hold the line. Capitals able to get things moving forward. Long will deflect that one down in deep. Moffitt will play it with his stick up that far side to Carcone, who carries into the offensive zone. A shot gloved down by Musser. He'll play to Mackey, and the Capitals transition back the other way. Capel deflects that one past Gallucci, and the skate of a linesman actually slows it down to the Capitals' benefit. It looked like at first. Instead, it's Green Bay back the other way. That one pops up into the glass. It looked like it might have went out of play. It was right by that Capitals bench area. It does stay in. It hits a high off the window just south of the Capitals bench. As it comes up the near side, Nemec's taken off the puck by the Capitals as Josh Player sends that one down in on Carson Musser. He thought about playing it to Mackey and said, we'll hold for a whistle with under 5 to go in period number 1. Our score still 0-0 at Bob Suter's Capital Ice Arena. Again, this is another battle of the Wisconsin Cheese Cup presented by Klondike Cheese. There's Odyssey brands and the Budenholzer brand. Their mascot, Wedgie, walking around tonight as well. The face-off will be on the near side. To the left of Musser in goal. Musser third in the league in goals against average this season. Has won 4 of his last 5, 6 of his last 7. Hold them up, boys. The warning given to the Capitals on the draws. A face-off taken by Green Bay. Nemec's shot deflected into the corner by the skate of Finn Brink. On the far side, Carcone threads the needle up top to Josh Player, and it gets back to him somehow. Carcone, rather that's Poitras. Near side now for Nemec. Down low, Nemec tried to get it back from his partner there in D'Angelo. Instead, the Capitals send that one down into the offensive end where the Capitals hold for a brief moment. Now Poitras behind the defense into the offensive zone. Poitras throws on the brakes to shed a defender. Gallucci up top now for Player, back to Gallucci. Far side, Poitras. Poitras with a shot. I don't know how quickly Musser saw it. The rebound ramped up off of him. Poitras was looking for goal number 11 on the season. Instead, he'll have a chance on the far side once again, but he'll spin back up as the Gamblers cycle. Shot from Poitras goes off the blocker. Capitals evade that pressure and send things back the other way. Diego Johnson behind the defense. Late on one of his shifts here. Gets slammed up against the wall on that far side. To a side work in the corner. Green Bay will come away with it on the stick of Blake Beshin as they relayed it along to him on the near side. Kuzma plays the body as now it's on the stick of the forward in the form of Ryan Humphrey with a shot that's kicked into the corner by Musser. Nagel trying to get things moving up that far side. Instead, it's the tender for Green Bay, Lev Katzen, in the Harvard commit, sending things to the near side corner where Jack Brandt takes over for Madison. Henry, far side corner, sends it up that far side wall. Danilov gets in the way as it goes into the corner once again. Katzen did a nice job to get the glove on it. Now on the far side, Humphrey up to the point. Almost out of the zone, but it's held in by Rasmus Larsson. The Swede with a shot goes across the slot, nobody home. Peterson will regain possession for Green Bay. Beshin down into the corner now. Held on to for a second was the stick of the Capitals defender, out front. The Capitals almost give up a grade A chance, but a nice job to recover by the Caps defense as they'll carry into the offensive zone. Near side, it's Nagel. Down low, backhands one towards the goal. Moffitt holds on, and it'll kick into the corner. Jamison, far side now for Toby. Toby tries to funnel one towards the goal. Hong leaves there for Toby. Toby down into the corner where it's gloved down by the player and Peterson. He's shoved into the wall. Peterson will glove it to his stick, send it down towards neutral ice as the Capitals tried to start things back up. Instead, it's Russell back the other way. Russell in the far side corner, up top now for the player in O'Malley. O'Malley rings it around the wall to the near side. Just trying to beat the player there as O'Donnell realizes it's not going to be icing, so he'll go apply some heavy forecheck on the player there from New York as he's the 0-3 from the same hometown as Jack Henry. Lutz through neutral ice. The German forward has it poked off of his stick as Rice on the near side corner turns things over to Green Bay. Baker, far side O'Malley, shot towards goal, sits in the corner. It's sent into the corner now though by James Mackey as the Capitals unable to clear on their first attempt. They stopped themselves there as O'Donnell will clear things all the way down. A minute and a half to go, period number 1. Still scoreless in this one between the Capitals and Gamblers here on Flow Hockey and on the Capitals radio network on YouTube. Madison through neutral ice. No icing as that one went through the feet of a couple of Gamblers players. Brender unable to catch the pass from Moffitt as Elias gets it over to his defensive partner, and Mackey will turn things back up towards the defensive side of the ice. Delaney with Rainers Rollers in front of him, gets it moving forward to him as he'll send one on goal from the neutral zone. It's held on to for a whistle. Clock still running here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena. Eventually stopped at 53.6 on the clock. Still scoreless as a face-off upcoming in the offensive end for Madison. They're going to add some time to the clock, it appears. Referee for tonight's game, Gavin Nieto over there. He's joined on the refereeing duty by Russell Jordan. Gerard Lamoureux and Aaron McCrary man the lines tonight. Face-off on the near side to the right of goaltender Gavin Moffitt in goal for Green Bay. Face-off one back, Delaney to the far side, now for Henry. Into the near side corner it goes, but that's where Green Bay able to pick up possession. Rollers intercepts and gets things back. Far side, Henry looking for a lane, feeds it out front, and Delaney never got a piece of it. The pass was intended for the forward back door. Delaney would have loved that. It would have topped off the week where he commits to UMass Lowell. As a shot on the far side from D'Angelo, gloved but not held on to by Musser. Shot blocked by Rollers into the far side. The rebound sent towards the goal by Gallucci. Face-off to come in the defensive zone for Madison. 26.7 to go, period number one. Still scoreless in this one. Exciting game here, low-scoring contest, and if you look at the goals against per game, you expect just that. 3.14 for Madison, second in the league. 3.28 Green Bay, third amongst USHL teams here this season. Face-off will be held up for a second, so hold them up, boys. As eventually, face-off will be won back by Green Bay. Sending one towards the goal. It popped up straight in the sky as Blake Beshin, the former Capital, sends it to the near side. Down to the corner it goes now for Humphrey. Humphrey relays it along to Beshin. Beshin tried to feed it out front, but no one home for the Gamblers as the Capitals start up that far side wall. Brendan Lamb getting his first action tonight as Elias sends one towards the goal. Held on to with the glove for a whistle. 4.3 seconds to go. Period number one. 0-0 our score. Madison and Green Bay. We'll see if we can draw something up here. If your head coach and general manager Andy Brandt. The face-off on that far side. Lamb, Kuzma, Brink, Elias, and Henry. Lamb will look like be the out front guy in this situation for the Capitals. Hold them up, boys. A warning given to Madison. Finn Brink had his big toe over the circle. Near side linesman blows that one dead to give the warning. Of course, you want the face-offs to be won fair and square. Shagabe, with no time remaining, sends one on goal. And after 20 minutes of play here in Madison, our score 0-0. Capitals and Green Bay going at it here on Flow Hockey and Caps Radio on YouTube. Stick around as we'll have your intermission coverage on our radio network. Of course, on Flow Hockey, we'll see you in period number two. Capitals 0, Green Bay 0, right here on Caps Radio and Flow Hockey.
Toyotathon is on. Time to make the holidays picture perfect with a new Toyota, like Camry, Tacoma, Grand Highlander, and more. Celebrate the season with a new Toyota. We're gonna need a bigger tree.
Right now, you can get 3.99% APR financing plus $1,000 cash back on a new Tacoma when you finance through Toyota Financial Services.
'Tis the season for Toyotathon.
Toyota, let's go places.
Slam it home. Steele scores! Back here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena, it's time for your first period scoring summary, and it's going to be a short one. Nothing on the score sheet through one period of play. 10-8 shots on goal in favor of Green Bay, as the Capitals were the only team to take a power play in that period, as Libor Nemec found his way to the penalty box for tripping. That's a 2-minute minor at the 4:31 marker of period number one. Capitals weren't able to score on the power play, obviously with the scoring summary being 0-0. 0 for 1 on the man advantage are the Capitals. A fast period up and down the ice. Not a lot to show for it from either side, and really both sides looking to take advantage of something. Capitals with a whole bunch of chances. I'm sure Green Bay feels the same after one period of play. We'll take a look at your out-of-town scoreboard when we come back. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on the Capitals Radio Network. While we're here on intermission, we might as well take a good look at a couple of players here and what they had to say about this weekend's game and last weekend's split in Sioux City. So here's Jack Henry, Ethan Elias, James Hong, and Diego Johnson earlier this week as part of our weekly press clips. All right, Jack, obviously you scored 2 goals last week. When your goals come, they kind of come in bunches. What did you see on each of your 2 goals on Saturday night?
A lot of net, 2 good net front screens. That was really, I could tell the goalie was trying to look around some bodies and just found the back of the net that way.
How important do you think your 2 goals were the time that you scored them?
I mean, I'd say pretty important. We were playing a good team, and obviously going into the third period, down a couple of goals, and started to pick up some momentum late, and obviously the timing worked out well.
You've been a mainstay as a quarterback on one of the power play units this season. What do you think has been the biggest difference from the power play struggles the team had for a lot of the season to the success that the team had last weekend?
Kind of just trusting the process, trusting the players you're out there with, letting the puck do the work, moving it around quickly, and seams will open up, and then you just kind of take your chances as they come.
The Caps are 1-2 against Green Bay this season, and with the second half underway, how important is this weekend series to kind of set the tone for Madison, which has 4 matchups with Green Bay after this weekend still remaining?
Yeah, no, it's a big one. Obviously, the second half of the season here, it's pretty tight in the standings with the teams ahead of us, and they're one of them. So obviously, it's a big couple of points on the line here for us, and can help us get us in better position as we head towards the end of the season.
Unreal. Thanks, Jack. Capitals are 2 wins away from equaling their total last season. As a player who was here last season and obviously to this year, what do you think's been the biggest difference?
I'd say the culture. I think a lot of guys are a lot closer with each other. Goaltending's a huge part of it. I'd say we have 2 really strong goaltenders, a 1A, 1B. I think as a whole, everyone kind of feeds off each other, and I think it's just a big difference from last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Team picks up a big win on Saturday night. We just talked with Jack Henry a little bit there. After falling late on Friday, can you touch on the resilience of the team to kind of come back after being down 3-1 entering the third?
Yeah, after the game Friday night, I think people were a little pissed off and kind of came to play right away. We fell behind a little bit, but I don't think it was a lack of effort or anything for us. I think it was just a couple bad bounces, and we found our way in the third period and came back and won, which is good.
Unreal. Thanks,
for the team. Yeah. Thank you.
James Madison was able to come from behind on Saturday night. At points this season, it really seems that it doesn't matter if the team's ahead, tied, behind, heading into the third. What are your thoughts on the win on Saturday and kind of the idea that it's not really over for this Caps team at any point in the game?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about our team. Every game is a battle. Every game, anything can happen, and I think we stuck with it. And going into third, being down a couple goals, I think none of us really gave up, and none of us we all trusted in our system and how we can play. So I wasn't surprised that we came back, and really, I think we're really capable of doing that every game.
You've been on a roll since the end of October, and have been averaging over a point per game in that stretch. What has been the biggest factor in continually finding the score sheet and being a piece that's contributing every night for this team?
I think just being fortunate enough to play with some good players, and just honestly not really thinking about it too much, just kind of going out and trying to play as hard as I can, and just trying to stick with my play, and it just happened to come, fortunately. But yeah, I think just the biggest thing was not really being too worried about it, too focused on it, and yeah, good things will happen then.
Intrastate rival Green Bay coming to town this weekend, but even more importantly, a team sitting a couple points in front of the Capitals. Can you touch on the importance of taking care of business against an opponent you'll see 9 times total this year?
Yeah, especially if you see a team that often, you kind of build a little rivalry. So, I think this weekend is a huge one, especially coming into the second half of the season. Every point matters. I think we're only a couple points behind second place or something like that. So, going forward, I think every game matters, especially a team like Green Bay who's ahead of us.
Unreal. Thanks, James.
Yep, thank you.
All right, Diego. First, welcome back to Madison. I guess, how's this transition been from the AJ down to here?
It's been awesome. All the guys have been super welcoming, super nice. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far.
As you get set to make your debut here with the Caps this weekend, I guess what has the biggest change been for you so far?
I'd say just the speed. This league's
really fast. Practice has been really competitive and stuff. People are pushing each other to be better. So, yeah, it's been good. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Getting called up to the league for the first time, what do you want to show?
I just want to show I can take on any role that Andy wants me to play here. I try to execute that to the best of my abilities. So.
Committed to play at the University of Wisconsin and getting to play here in Madison, how exciting is it for you to get to play junior in the same city that you're committed to play college in?
Yeah, it's super exciting. If all things go well, I could be here for the next 5 years or so. So, yeah, it's super exciting to know that I can be a part of this city for a while.
Perfect. Thanks, Diego. It's time to take a look at your out-of-town scoreboard presented by MadCapsHockey.com. MadCapsHockey.com, your one-stop shop for all things Capitals this season. After two, Youngstown with a 4-3 lead over Des Moines. 3-1, Dubuque leads over the U17s at the beginning of period number 3 in Plymouth. 4-3 our score as they enter period number 3 in Waterloo between the Steele and the Blackhawks, as the Lincoln Stars with a 2-1 advantage over the Tri-City Storm. 3-2, Sioux Falls over Omaha at the moment at the end of period number 2. They're 2-1. Fargo over Muskegon, and of course the game you guys are all here for, it's the Madison Capitals 0, the Green Bay Gamblers 0 after 20 minutes of play here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena. The importance of the standings, you just heard the guys say it in those press clippings, the weekly press clippings we like to call that. Capitals sit 10 points back of first place Dubuque, but right now the Capitals only sit 4 points back of second place, and that's Green Bay and Muskegon tied for second at the moment. Of course, Muskegon and Dubuque also both have the games played advantage over the Capitals, the Gamblers, the Phantoms. So that's something to look at as we go down the stretch of the season. Madison still with 4 games in hand over first place Dubuque and 3 games in hand over a tied for second Muskegon Lumberjacks. Capitals, of course, with a win tonight, can move into a tie of 4th place in the conference with Youngstown as these 5 teams really go at it here in the Eastern Conference this season. Capitals with a 15-8-4-2 record to their name, 6-2-2-0 in their last 10 games. On a streak right now of a win 1. Would love to make it a win 2. To do that, Capitals need a couple of goals here in period number 2, as we're all squared at 0 aside, but Madison sure would like a lead as they head into intermission number 2, because the difference in that lead at period number 2 versus not having the lead versus being trailing at that second intermission is so huge, not only for the Capitals, just for really every team here in the USHL. Madison 11-0-0-1 when leading after 2 this season, 2-1-4 when trailing, or when tied after 2, and 2-7-0-1 when trailing after 2 periods. So this second period really important for Madison, even more important for Green Bay. 15 of their wins come when they lead after 2 periods of play. Only 2 come when they're tied after 2, and 1 when they trail through 2 periods of play. Period of the long change always produces offense, and the Capitals would love some of that here in the second period of play. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on Caps Radio on YouTube. We'll be back on Flow Hockey as well. When we return, it's Capitals Hockey as the Caps play here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena tonight against the Green Bay Gamblers. Mascot Mania, presented by American Family Insurance. Back here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena, period number 2, just right around the corner as the Capitals set to face off against Green Bay for the middle tonight's regulation action. Not a ton of action on the score sheet in period number 1. In fact, nothing on the score sheet. Only 2 minutes of penalties assessed in the period. Libor Nemec headed to the box. Capitals unsuccessful on the ensuing power play as the Capitals back at it in period number 2, the period of the long change, period number 2. Caps will travel left to right across your radio dial on Caps Radio on YouTube, and right to left will the Gamblers go. Caps wearing their white tops, Gamblers their black tops. Musser in the net to my left, Moffitt in the net to my right. Referee ready to get things back underway. Of course, the referee crew tonight, Russell Jordan and Gavin Nieto, Gerard Lamoureux and Aaron McCrary manning the lines. We're underway here in period number 2. Poitras on the near side trying to funnel things with the backhand towards the goal. Instead, it's up the near side wall. The Capitals able to get things out, at least for a moment. It looked that way. Instead, Nemec on the near side with a shot to the far was Poitras. Player will hold in for Green Bay. Far side, player comes down the wall, holds that time, wears an A on his chest, does Josh Player before he sends it into the near side. Excuse me on that one. Up the near side, D'Angelo now taken over by Andrew Kuzma. Kuzma towards the middle of the ice, no offside. Shot that time sat there, and the shot was blocked by a player who's slow to get up on the far side. He's been beaten up by block shots this evening, but that's what his team required for him, and that's exactly what he's done thus far. Nemec through neutral ice. Galucci activates himself up. Nemec through the middle, tried to feed it back door for Poitras, but Poitras just a stride or two too far behind. As under a minute into period number 1, Capitals on their heels already in the middle frame. Kuzma slams a body up against the wall. Mackey gets things moving forward to Long, and the Capitals through neutral ice now on the stick of the Mono Ontario native, but offside. Ronan O'Donnell a bit too antsy on that far side. Just takes a step or two over the line for offside. 1:15 into period number 2. 0-0 our score. The Capitals, the faceoff just outside the offensive zone to follow here. Long, Rice, and O'Donnell, the forwards for this Capitals squad out there. The face-off one back. Elias on the near side wins that one forward, and a shot deflects up and out of play for a whistle. 18:38 to go, period number 2. But the Capitals to their second power play of the night. 18:38. Madison to their second power play of the night. Humphrey to the box. He's trying to go to the wrong box for a trip, they say. Capitals 0 for 1 on the man advantage with their second chance here as a face-off on the far side to the right of Gavin Moffitt to follow. Hong, Johnson, Rice, or rather that's Brandt on the far side with Kuzma and Henry up top for Madison. Player, Hughes, O'Malley, and D'Angelo for the Gamblers. D'Angelo leads this Green Bay squad in shorthanded goals this season, so they're not afraid to get aggressive on the penalty kill this season. Is Jack Henry back, sit all the way up behind his own goal after the puck popped out of the zone. Henry evades D'Angelo at first and will eventually drop back to James Hong, the alternate captain for the Caps, comes through neutral ice. Hong into the offensive zone now on the top of the near side circle. Cements his spot on this power play unit. Up top, Henry. Far side now for Brandt. Brandt looks for options down in the corner now. It goes for Johnson. Back up top for Henry. Henry off that far side wall to Hong. Brandt now gets it back to him. Hong looks for options as the Green Bay player loses his twig. Johnson in the corner, back to Hong on the far side. Hong, now Henry, shot from Kuzma off the pad. Johnson looks for options, wrapped around the one side. Rebound set there, and the Capitals weren't able to close. Henry up top, shot deflected along the way. Rebound sits out front. Johnson grabs his shovel and tries to get that one towards the goal. He's unsuccessful, but keeps possession for Madison. Hong on the far side, down low. Johnson sends one towards the goal again, and it just goes wide. Kuzma, far side now for Hong. Hong looking for options, 49 to go on the man advantage for Madison. Henry with a shot just sent wide. Hong back to the far side. I was actually watching a couple of Sherwood Park games, and when Johnson was on the power play, he was lethal, but it was with his shot on the far side. Knows his role on this Madison power play already. As Henry on that far side drops back now to Brink. Brink will come up the near side wall and looked like he was eventually going to send it back. Instead, he'll take it himself and turns it over because of it. 20 seconds to go on the man advantage. You can't really complain too much about what the looks Madison got on the man advantage. Diego Johnson activating himself awfully well here. Green Bay tries to clear. They're unsuccessful on their first attempt. Their second attempt will be successful. Eventually, it looked like instead they choose to wait it out and wait until Humphrey comes out of the penalty box. A race to it. Humphrey will win that race to the hash marks. It's actually not winning the race to the hash marks, but it's looking like you're winning the race to the puck at the hash marks, and Humphrey won that race and actually won the race to the puck. Capitals 0 for 2 on the man advantage tonight. Struggles on the man advantage continue here at home. Madison unsuccessful to slam one home. 14th in the league on the power play coming in, and Green Bay's penalty kill towards the bottom. So Madison was hoping that they might be able to take advantage of a weak power play unit or a weak penalty kill unit. Barloggy activates himself up the far side. Will backhand that one to the near side where O'Donnell pinches down. To his side work on the near side half wall as Misha Danilov will take back over on possession. He actually collides with the referee there for a moment as the Capitals force a turnover at neutral ice. Lamb into the offensive zone. Lamb with 4 goals on the season, looking to make it 5. Instead, the shot goes wide on the far side. Brender will play it off the window. It'll go all the way down. Icing to follow if Jamison doesn't beat it there. Jamison did beat the puck to the goal line, though, as Madison starts up the near side wall. Jamison sees a lane he likes, has some speed with him, trying to power his way towards the goal, but this puck just rolled off the end of his stick. Toby unable to hold on the far side as Green Bay tried to clear, successfully doing so. O'Donnell up the near side will start things back for Madison. O'Donnell's pass, unsuccessful. Shogabay now through neutral. Shogabay leads this Green Bay squad in assists this season. Feeds one out front, looking for another. Unsuccessful on that attempt. Far side, Green Bay on possession. It's Ludwig. Ludwig activating himself down into that corner. Eventually he'll back out to his position and allows Madison to retreat out all the way down. It'll be icing if it gets there. Sure enough, it does. 14:54 to go, period number 2. Our score 0-0 through 5:06 into period number 2. It's a great time to remind you that the broadcast tonight is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Come explore unmatched selection of high-quality products all at everyday low prices and see how easy creating the space to match your taste can be. Discover your new Floor & Decor, now open in Monona and online at flooranddecor.com. Face-off will be to the near side to the right of Musser in goal. Nothing on the score sheet yet. A penalty in period 1 for Green Bay, taken by Nemec, a period that didn't have much of anything on the sheet there. O'Donnell lays a body. Offside are the Gamblers. A nice job to play the body of O'Donnell. O'Donnell asks if he's all right. Very sportsmanlike. Absolutely hit the truck stick there. Chirps going both ways. He's just making sure his Gohart was all right. Humphrey takes the lone penalty here in period number 2, but we're only 5 minutes and change in to the middle frame of tonight's game. Face-off one back by Green Bay, but a nice job by Finn Brink to hop on top of it as they send it down to the near side corner. Diego Johnson pumps his legs into the corner and feeds it out front, no one home for Madison as Green Bay starts back the other way. Up the near side, it's Humphrey continuing that one all the way down. Beshin will apply some pressure on Carson Musser. Beshin, of course, this summer was a member of the Capitals, never played a game with Madison besides a couple of all-star games. The high stick upcoming on Andrew Kuzma. Blake Beshin will be looked at to see if he has a second one. Penalty coming. It'll just be a 2-minute minor, sending Green Bay to their first power play of the night. Kuzma high sticking the call, and here's that once again for you. Kuzma was getting up, and the stick just flailed on him. That sends Green Bay to their first power play of the night. Green Bay on the season on the man advantage comes in at a 27.3 marker, which is good enough this season for number 5 in the league. Was towards the top of the league for a while, but kind of cooled off as of late. And, of course, with some of your best players heading to World Juniors, you can't really blame them for that. Face-off in the defensive end once again. At least that appears to be the case. Aaron McCrary and Russell Jordan discuss. It does come all the way back inside the defensive zone for Madison. Ethan Elias, the captain for this Capital squad, trying to go to bat for his team. Andy Brandt, the head coach and general manager of this Capital squad, has a word with Russell Jordan. Jordan kind of calms him down and says, hey, this is what happened. Sure enough, it does go in the zone. Sam Capel will clear down the ice, and 15 seconds into the man advantage for Green Bay, they start just in front of their goaltender, Gavin Moffitt. They drop back to D'Angelo, who takes it back behind the goal. D'Angelo starts up the far side wall and gathers some speed throughout the process. D'Angelo carries into the offensive zone and throws on the brakes. Once he gets in, he rings it around the wall, but eventually Libor Nemec will take over there for the Gamblers. Beshin down in the far side corner. The Capitals try to clear it, pops up and out of play. Faceoff will come outside of the zone as Barloghi and Beshin go at it a little bit. Beshin's stick, I believe, falls in the process. Both players heading to the penalty box, Beshin and Barloghi. Tension is high, of course, with Blake Beshin. Both players in the penalty box. I believe it'll still be a just general power play as the faceoff will come outside of the zone. Didn't quite see the call for both. At the moment, they put him up on the score clock, but I don't think that will remain. Not putting it on the score clock, and the referee on that far side, Gavin Nieto, informs the off-ice official in the scorer's booth on that far side. Yeah, we don't want those ones up on the board, so it still remains 5-on-4 for the next minute 21. But both teams without one of their players. Blake Beshin for Green Bay. Noah Barloghi for Madison. As we'll hear it here in arena. Roughing on Barloghi. I believe the rough will come on Blake Beshin as well. Sure enough, that's the case. Is a turnover, and now Max Nagel will have a chance in. He's in all alone on the shorty. Shot that time, just ramped up. A nice job on the back check by Mikey D'Angelo to keep that one where it was. Is up the far side. Green Bay will send that one in. 50 seconds to go on the Kuzma minor penalty. As Madison with the best chance here on the man advantage for Green Bay. Yeah, Libor Nemec was sitting out front wide open. I'm sure he wants that one back. Sends it to the near side. Poitras with a shot. Goes off the post. It looked like instead it's the back bar. It's scored by Ben Poitras, who tallies a power play marker for the first goal of the game. You'll see it here. Just beats the blocker side high. Clearly did find its way into the back of the net for a goal. 37 seconds remained on the man advantage for Green Bay. They don't need it there, as it clearly went above the shoulder and into the goal. Didn't quite see who got the assist, but I'm sure our crew off ice will have that for us here in a moment. If I'm not mistaken, on that far side, Libor Nemec had a piece of that one, as Rich Reynolds announces here in arena. Nemec and D'Angelo with the assist to make the lead 1-0 for Green Bay, and Madison now trailing for the first time tonight, as just north of halfway remains here in period number 2. Down on the far side, Madison tries to take over on possession in the offensive zone. They're unsuccessful in doing so as Green Bay carries through neutral ice. It'll go all the way back inside the defensive zone. When Madison is unable to get the first goal, it's actually better than when they do score the first goal. 8-3, 4-2 on the season. A player dragged down by Jack Henry. Rainers Rullers takes over on possession on that far side wall, and now Madison up the near side. It looked like for a moment Jack Henry was going to send it. Eventually, the Capitals turn it over. Rainers Rullers just tried to backtrack out of the zone and set on the near side left. Katzen, the tender, sends it out front. It just goes wide. Never got the deflection he wanted, but Galucci with a shot goes off the end wall, and Madison takes back over behind their own goal line. Jack Henry plays it off the window. Katzen will hold with the glove. Katzen leaves there for Brender. Katzen gets it back, but Sam Capel battles for it. 07 on 07 is it's sent down by Capel up the far side wall. Waiting for it's Humphrey. Humphrey thought about playing it forward, but stutter stepped and went back as it got James Hong off of his tail. Intercepted. Captain Ethan Elias into the offensive zone. Elias beats his man into the far side. Sends it out front. No one home for Madison. And now Brender and the Gamblers are off to the races the other way. Slowed down by James Mackey, who sends it down into the offensive zone for Madison for a brief moment. Player ahead now. All the way down inside the offensive zone. Katzen plays it off the end wall. And there for the Capitals is Ethan Elias, who sends a player down to the surface, and now James Mackey activates himself up that far side wall. Mackey tied up there, as well as Jack Brandon to the offensive zone. Now comes James Hong. He'll send it off the end wall. A couple of changes for Madison allows Green Bay an easy exit from the zone up the near side. Humphrey through neutral ice. Brender into the offensive zone now. Brender with a shot that goes off the post or off of some sort of body of the player there. High sticking upcoming on James Mackey, sending Green Bay to their second power play of the night. As the faceoff to come inside the defensive zone when we do return. 10:47 remains here in period number 2. Our score 1-0 in favor of the Green Bay Gamblers. You see him on your screen there. It's TJ Draves helping finish the lyrics here at Bob Suiter's Capital Ice Arena. Mackey for high sticking sends Green Bay. Green Bay 1 for 1 on the man advantage tonight. Have a chance to go 2 for 2. And I talked about the power play struggles. Really, the power play was successful last weekend. It was the penalty kill that really was unsuccessful. And towards the beginning of the year, Madison's penalty kill was towards the top of the season. But it really just didn't work out for the Caps last weekend. And it started to trail a little bit as it goes down. Let It Snow being played here in the arena. Of course, appropriate with yesterday's weather. Faceoff will be in the defensive zone as Green Bay's 27.3% power play unit goes to work for the second time today. Scored on the first one with a goal from Ben Poitras. The difference in this one just a couple of moments ago. Down in the corner. Opportunity for Green Bay to take their first 2-goal lead of the night. D'Angelo gets tied up. A shot from the far side. Trying to deflect it out instead. D'Angelo holds. Poitras, far side shot that time. Rebound sits out front. Scrambling for it are the Capitals. The shot eventually comes once again off the stick of Julian Lutz. It's Beshin, Nemec, Lutz, and Nemec slams one towards the goal. Beshin is shoved down into the surface as Lutz takes back over. Nemec out front. Beshin sends one just into the stick of Musser, and it goes wide over to the near side. Out towards neutral ice. Aiden Long tries to corral things for Madison, and Ethan Elias is plowed down to the surface. 2 Capitals were down, and now a player out front in the form that time of Julian Lutz. Maybe a little too active in the offensive zone were the Gamblers, trying to get too pretty, and halfway through this man advantage, they kind of suffer from it. Lutz on the far side gets it back up top. D'Angelo. A couple players still remain from that first unit, and that includes Julian Lutz, whose shot goes off the right pad. Madison with a chance to clear. They're unsuccessful at first. Eventually they will be able to. Gavin Moffitt will have to come out of his crease to play the puck as he'll play it up the near side wall. Shagabe there waiting for it. Will start back up. Second unit out there for Green Bay for the first time tonight. Shagabe, Humphrey, Katzen, Gallucci, and Russell. Shagabe circles around the offensive zone for the Gamblers. Leaves there for Katzen. Katzen pestered by Colton Jamieson. Up top it goes for Gallucci. Gallucci, far side now for Shagabe. Shagabe with a shot deflected by the Capitals. Caps with a chance to clear. Nagel will continue it out towards neutral ice. 15 to go on the man advantage for Green Bay. 9 minutes to go here in period number 2. Toby went for the change. Capitals could have had a nice break there. Of course, it would have been a defenseman up there with Charlie Michaud fresh off the bench as the Capitals are back at full strength here. Shagabe plays it with the foot. Some sewer helped him out pregame. Player up the near side wall into the corner. Player seeds it towards the slot that time. Instead sends one towards the goal. Over to the far side now. Gallucci's shot deflected. Gallucci gets it back though. Gallucci down into the far side corner. Russell continues it along to Humphrey. Humphrey up the near side wall. Capitals look to clear this one out towards neutral ice. Nagel will be able to, and the Capitals try to continue it all the way down. Lamb tried to take care of business for Madison. Instead, it'll be Green Bay back the other way. Danilov had a hat trick against the Caps last season at the Resch Center. Capitals make sure he doesn't get one there as he sends that one into the wall through the Caps. Johnson ahead now for Brink. Brink has a chance at it. It's all the way down inside the offensive zone. Thought about powering his way towards the goal. Backhands that one out front for Johnson, and now it's Brender back the other way for Green Bay. The transition game ever so important in the period of the long change, and Green Bay sends it down the length of the ice into their defensive end on an intended one-time shot to the point. Johnson puts some pressure on Baker. Baker, now Brink. Puck sits there for Madison, and it goes out towards neutral, where Brender will have to slow things down for a moment for the Gamblers. Is on the near side now on possessions, Garen Ludwig. Ludwig ahead now. Through neutral ice, it's on the stick of Hughes, who drops for Danilov. Far side into the offensive zone. Russell turns that one over. Rather, that's Brender, who takes a couple hacks at it, but Madison still takes over. Long for O'Donnell. O'Donnell, his footing kind of awkward there, but still shovels one with the backhand towards the goal as Green Bay plays it off the far side glass and Poitras into the offensive zone. Poitras with a couple of buddies joining him fresh off the bench. Nemec down below the goal line, leaves there for Danilov. Rice now covering him. It's now Poitras with a shot looking for his second of the night. Goes wide. Shot from Larson. Caroms up to the point on the far side for Peterson, who holds. Down beneath the goal line, it's Elias. Far side now. Long deflects that one, so no icing should be called. Sure enough, not the case. Peterson up the near side. Nemec will just clear out towards neutral to be icing if it gets there. Sure enough, it does. 6:30 to go, period number 2. 1-0 our score in favor of the visiting Gamblers, but the Capitals with an offensive zone drawing some tired black and yellow players out there. Face off on the far side. Gamblers wearing the black tops, Capitals with the white tops. Of course, the period of the long change. Rullers, Capel, Delaney, the top unit for Madison. Of course, Austin Bernovic typically on this first unit for the Caps it's Nathan Toby who holds the line. Toby, a 3-year teammate of Bernovic. Bernovic out of the lineup due to participating in the All-American game on Tuesday. Unable to hold the line on the far side was Rainer's Rullers as the Capitals turn things over. It's James Mackey unable to hold on to possession. Toby slowed things down just long enough for the rest of the Capitals to recover. Larson with a shot from the point. It deflected off the stick of Sam Capel into the right pad of Musser. Capitals really on their heels here in period number 2. The period of the long change getting the better of them. Really, Madison hasn't had much time inside the offensive zone except the lone power play to start things off in this period. Up the far side, Rullers loses possession for a moment, and it comes out towards neutral, where Peterson will send things to the far side. Beshin into the offensive zone. Rullers puts a body on Blake Beshin, and Beshin will try to enter the offensive zone. Would have been offsides if he would have got possession of it or really touched that one. Was unable to, and Rullers clears out towards neutral ice. Peterson has that one trickle through his legs, and now it's Katzen back the other way for the Gamblers. Katzen tries to beat Toby to the edge, backhands one towards the goal. Never had a chance. Musser didn't even have to touch that one. Near side corner. Katzen back on possession. Katzen cycles that one down. Madison able to get a piece of it, and it trickles into the far side. Toby looking to get possession for Madison, but once again, Green Bay on it, at least for a moment. Delaney unable to clear his first attempt. His second attempt does get out towards neutral ice, and now Humphrey with Katzen on the near side. Humphrey's shot, rebound sits there. Musser hops on top of it. I think Blake Beshin's going to have a hard time with this one as he took a whack at the goaltender afterwards. Faceoff will be in the defensive zone when we do return to play, but Beshin takes a little hack at Carson Musser. Musser letting the officials know about it. Faceoff will be on the far side to the left of Musser in goal. Hong in the circle. A couple of players next to him, including Charlie Michaud, who wins it over to. Michaud sends it around to the near side for Henry, and now Brandt and Hong with a 2-on-1. Jack Brandt on the near side, backhands one across. A little too much height on that one. I don't know if he expected that one to be a lacrosse-style whack-in or maybe a baseball swing, and now a shot from Russell off the body that time of Musser, goes up top. Baker sends one towards the goal, kicked into the corner by the goaltender for Madison, as Baker will hold on the far side. A nice pad save by Musser, and now the Capitals back the other way. Hong gloves it down. Hong throws on the brakes on the half wall. Hong looking for options. Thought about sending it down into the corner. Instead finds his way into the high slot. Shot, rebound, sits there and goes wide. There's a player in Brady O'Malley. He'll play it over to Baker. Baker up the far side to Beshin, and now rather that Shagabe ahead for Julian Lutz. Lutz with his shot goes wide the whole way. You can't miss on the breakaway, and now it might be another chance out front for Lutz, but his line mate Russell unable to find him. A one-time shot from Larson goes high off the window. Never had a chance at going anywhere near the goal that time. Is down in the corner. Russell wrestled down to the surface by Elias. Elias arguing his case, but the Capitals will be heading to their third penalty kill here of the period. Out at neutral ice, it'll be Peterson looking to slow things down. The extra attacker on with the goaltender Moffitt off with the impending minor penalty. 3:23 remains in the period. Into the offensive zone, Peterson has it taken off of his stick. Shot after the whistle, and Elias takes another hack. Elias, if he's not careful, might get 2 penalties here. I think you got to give Peterson one if you're going to give Elias a second, but here's that call. Elias has his stick tied up and trying to get it out, and probably smartly by the forward Russell holds onto the stick in between his arm and his chest as the captain sits for 2 or less. 3:17 to go. Period number 2. As Green Bay 1 for 2 on the man advantage already tonight, looking to make it 2 for 3. Face off on the far side to the left of Carson Musser in goal. Face off one back by Green Bay. D'Angelo up top. They go with 5 forwards once again. D'Angelo far side now. Lutz down low. Nemec backhands that one out front. Instead, it'll be the Capitals with a chance to go back the other way. D'Angelo's got a whole bunch of speed, but Aiden Long kind of has the body positioning on him. Loses him. Aiden Long out front with the backhand, and it just goes over the goal into the near side corner where Green Bay can take over once again. As Mikey D'Angelo starts up the far side and drops back there for Lutz. Lutz far side now to Beshin, who rings it around where Musser can slow it down enough for Noah Barlagi to be the first one on it. Nope, call will come as Noah Barlagi tripped up by the stick that time of Libor Nemec. Barlagi on the far side wrestled down as it's a race to the near side where Michaud leaves for Lamb, who sends it all the way down. 1:10 to go here on the man advantage for Green Bay. Madison with 3 changes. The only one not changing is Andrew Kuzma, who is already out there for a brief moment as he'll come up the near side wall. Far side. Green Bay sent it in. Madison will reject and send things back towards neutral, where Poitras has to restart things moving forward. Shagabe through the legs that time of O'Donnell. Leaves there for Poitras. Poitras shot. Rebound sits out front. A nice job by the Capitals as O'Donnell sends one. It goes up into the crowd. Hopefully everybody's all right. Got to beware of flying pucks here. As Madison will have a face-off in their defensive end with 2:01 to go in the period. 44 seconds to go here on the man advantage for Green Bay. Barlagi and Michaud head to the bench as we get the broken stick. Didn't quite see who broke their twig. Maybe O'Donnell, as he was the one who sent it into the crowd on that far side. Hopefully everybody's all right over there on that far side. As a face-off, be on the far side to the left of Carson Musser in goal. 2:01 to go in the period, as I mentioned. The face-off one back by Green Bay. Shagabe, not a bad player to have on your second power play unit, as it's Larson up top now with possession after Humphrey gave it to him. Shagabe, shot. Rather, it looked like he was trying to feed it to Russell back door. Instead, it comes to Katzen on the near side. Jamison gets it to Toby, and eventually Humphrey tries to feed it out front for Shagabe. Instead, it's Madison back the other way. Kuzma realized he has some time behind him, and not too much, though, as he'll eventually start back up. Kuzma up the far side wall, trying to power his way towards the goal as it poked off of his stick. Up top of the point now, far side Henry into the corner. Michaud went after it, realizing they're on the kill. He went backwards as 3 seconds remain. Madison has forced Green Bay to the last 2 power plays being unsuccessful, and just north of a minute left. Green Bay looking for their second of the period. Humphrey through the legs of a player there. Elias will just play it up the near side wall. He'll go for a change now as that gives way for Rainers Rollers. Capel hops over to help complete this line. Musser comes out of his cage and leaves there for Jack Henry. Henry looking for options, sends it over to Michaud. Michaud picks his head up and surveys the field of play, trying to feed it to Rollers, and eventually Rollers with that long stick leaves there for Michaud. Michaud with a shot. Rebound sits out front. Capel trying to slam it home. Delaney does as well. Michaud with the shot, and it goes wide. Michaud on the near side half wall, trying to get around the defense, and now it's a 3-on-2. Michaud, the back checker here for Madison. Humphrey in the high slot, spins off of the first Capital on him and gets the second one to bite on possession. Hughes, up top player, holds the line. Near side, Henry trying to get things out for Madison. He'll just rainbow that one up. Capel gloves it down. We'll play it over to Rainers Rollers, and Madison with 12 seconds left in the period has to go. Sends one towards the goal. Kicked into the corner by Moffitt. Rollers, far side. Two battle there. Delaney comes away with it. Has a player out front trying to feed it to Rollers, unsuccessful. And after 40 minutes of play, Madison will head into intermission number 2, trailing by 1. Here's that last attempt by the Capitals, and you saw it. Moffitt was unable to glove it down. Capel loves those type of things. You see him on the forecheck all the time, and this is unsuccessful that one time. Delaney had a whack at it as well. Madison heads into intermission number 2, trailing by 1. Green Bay 1, Madison 2. We'll be back on Caps Radio on YouTube, and Flow Hockey will be back for the third period of play. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on the Caps Radio Network and on Flow Hockey. Ben Poitras with the lone goal here in this one as we return to Bob Suter's Capital Ice Arena for period number 3. Green Bay leads 1-0 over your Madison Capitals with that Poitras power play goal coming at the 13-minute mark of period number 2. The Capitals, of course, look to bounce back and look to come from behind for the second straight game as they enter period number 3, trailing by 1. Welcome back into the broadcast booth here at Bob Suter's Capital Ice Arena. My name's Drew Steele. I am the captain going through your ship, going on the ship through your ear ocean. Pardon me on that one. Capitals trailed 3-1 entering the third on Saturday a week ago in Sioux City. And the Capitals were able to bounce back. And in that one, Madison able to win 4-3. It was a pair of power play goals. Power play empty tonight thus far, 0 for 2. Our Madison on the man advantage here tonight. Third and final frame upcoming. The refereeing crew of tonight's game, Russell Jordan and Gavin Nieto, linesmen of Gerard Lamoureux and Aaron McCrary ready to go. As we are back at center ice, Caps will move right to left, Green Bay left to right, and we are back underway at Bob Suter's Capital Ice Arena. 20 minutes remain in regulation. We'll see who comes out victorious in this ever so important Eastern Conference match. Capitals just 4 points back of not only Green Bay, but of second place in the conference. Up the near side, Nemec had a little too far in front of him, so the Capitals are able to transition back the other way. Brink into the offensive zone. They say offside. Does the linesman Gerard Lamoureux. First whistle of period number 3 comes 26 seconds into the period. 1-0. Green Bay leads. It's that power play goal. Power play striking at the 5th best rate in the USHL entering the weekend at 27.3%. Hold them up, boys. A little delay in dropping by Gerard Lamoureux, and the puck is sent down into the offensive zone by Madison for a brief second. Beshin deflects a Green Bay icing attempt, so that negates the icing as the Capitals start back the other way. With some speed through neutral ice, Chris Delaney overskated that one, leaving it there for Sam Capel and resorting back to his natural position of left wing. Barloggi barrels a body down for Green Bay, but Green Bay able to pick back possession, and Humphrey will get things moving back the other way. Intercepted, sent back down, stuttering Green Bay's rush, but eventually Humphrey will get things started back the other way once again. Humphrey trying to get it down to the corner. Instead, it's on the stick of Nathan Toby back the other way. Delaney tries to jump around Peterson and now down into the corner on the stick of Sam Rice. Rice down in the corner. On possession now for Green Bay is Larson. Larson up that far side wall will play it off the window. Beshin puts some pressure on Carson Musser, who just backhands it over to his teammate of 3 years now in Nathan Toby. O'Malley up the far side, able to intercept things and get things moving back for Green Bay. Instead, it's Charlie Russell on possession. 18:25 to go in the third. All the way down, Ethan Elias on possession now for Madison, as he'll start up that far side to the right of his goaltender. A 4-on-2 for Madison. Elias a bit too antsy. Offside are the Capitals. Elias tried to drag that foot behind. Not the case, says this officiating crew. Face-off to come just outside the offensive zone for Madison. Brent, Hong, and Nagel, this third unit for the Capitals. Hong, the centerman. On the other side, it's Hughes. Face-off, one back by Hong and the Caps as Mackey plays it over to Elias. Chips it down in deep, and the Capitals' forecheck goes to work. 2 minutes into period number 3. Green Bay leads by 1 with a power play goal in period number 2. A goaltending duo by 2 of the best defensive teams in the league statistically this season. On the near side, Hong trying to play that up the wall. Instead, it's Danilov back the other way for Green Bay. He'll center things up and get things moving back as it's gloved down, at least for a moment. It looked that would be the case by Ethan Elias as Mackey back inside his defensive zone, plays off the body that time of Danilov and gets things moving forward up the near side. Hong tries to play to Mackey, who had some speed up the far side wall. Mackey now to Hong, a bit too far in front of him. Hong tried to poke that one along, and Madison has their rush up ice set back once again. Hong on the far side corner, trying to establish things and needs a point to extend his streak to a league-long 14 games. Michaud, Henry on the far side. Hong goes for a change, and now it's Michaud on the near side. Now Kuzma with a shot. That time goes off the shoulder of Moffitt, and up the near side wall come Green Bay. Henry forces a turnover. Shot goes wide off the end wall. Kuzma goes after it. Rather Brink in the corner. Kuzma on the far side half wall. Takes it to the circle. Goes towards the slot and has it poked off of his stick by Lutz and out towards neutral ice come the Gamblers. Kuzma at neutral. Forces a turnover, but Green Bay gives one right back as Charlie Russell will start things moving forward, or at least it looked like that would be the case, but he went backwards 3 times and took another backward spin, and now Delaney takes over on the far side due to a Green Bay errant pass. Kuzma in the corner, throws on the brakes, wrestled down to the surface. Capel up top. Henry one-time shot goes wide. Michaud on the near side. Thought about sending one towards the goal, and said Delaney on the half wall, down to Kuzma once again. Kuzma up top now. Henry near side Michaud. Michaud with the shot goes off the glass, and Kuzma corrals the miss on the far side. Delaney looking for options. Shot near side looking for Michaud. Delaney's shot goes wide, and now he'll go pick up the miss in the corner. Michaud on the near side with his couple of fresh players off the bench. Michaud sends it off the end wall. Ruller's there with a shot. Rebound sits out front. Michaud gathers the miss. It caromed up to him at the point. Now Delaney. Delaney with the shot off the blocker. Pops up into the air. Gallucci trying to get things moving forward. Delaney gets the miss. Delaney near side. Michaud gloves down. Down into the corner now. Rullers after it. Rullers in the corner. Battled off by the body. Nemec will try to chip things out of the zone. Madison keeps possession in the zone on the stick of Sam Capel. Far side Barloghi with a shot, and it goes wide. 15:23 remains. Madison finally forced out to neutral ice as the Capitals spin things right back into the offensive zone. Long looking for options. A shot sits out front. Moffitt hops on top of it. 1-0 Green Bay leads, but Madison with oh so many chances there as a face-off in the offensive zone to follow. 15:11 to go in the third. That offensive zone stint lasted about 3 minutes of actual and game time as a face-off will be on the far side to the left of Gavin Moffitt in goal. What a turn of events there for Madison. You just wish something were to come from it, but maybe momentum will be enough for this Capital squad. Up the far side, Barloghi holds. Rice up the far side wall. Now back beneath the goal line, Ludwig, but Barloghi will pinch on that far side wall, and eventually it'll be Green Bay back the other way. Green Bay into the offensive zone. It looked like offside. Instead, no whistle will come at first. A shot deflected up and onto play will force a stoppage. 14:52 to go, period number 3. 1-0 our score in favor of the visiting Gamblers. Capitals' upcoming schedule on the road for a pair in Fargo next week. 7:05 start on Friday, 6:05 start on Saturday before returning home to face off against the Tri-City Storm. On that Friday night is a 7:05 start. Dollar Beer Night presented by Coors Light. Then on Saturday it's What If Night presented by MG&E. Hong up the near side. Now it's Nagel. Nagel tries to get things moving forward. Has the defenseman tied up there in Peterson. Hong with his chance goes wide, but the Capitals take over on possession. Tries to feed it backdoor for Brandt. Instead it comes back to him in the corner. Nagel unable to keep possession from Addison. Peterson gets things moving forward to Beshin, who will carry into the offensive zone, just trying to beat Mackey up the near side wall. Sure enough, he does just that by chipping it around him. Down in the corner to a side work. Puck trying to come free. Beshin shoved into the wall a couple of times by alternate captain James Hong, who will just send things out towards the glass. No change will be allowed for Madison. Appears everybody will be all right as the Capitals will have a face-off in their defensive zone with some tired legs. So Green Bay will counter with their top line, able to match for the first time in a long time. Of course, the visiting team not usually given that privilege. Face-off to the left of Musser and goal. Face-off is won back by the Capitals, and on the near side, James Hong will try to start things out of the zone and out towards neutral ice, where Luke Baker will send things down in deep. Musser got a piece of it to get it off the wall where Nathan Toby takes over for Madison. Delaney on the far side behind the defense deflects that one up and out of play. Face-off to come just outside of the offensive zone for Madison here in a moment. A race to it between a bunch of fans on that far side, youth hockey teams in the area. Faceoff will be just outside the offensive zone on that far side, though, for Madison. Opposite the Green Bay bench. 13:54 to go, period number 3. 1-0 our score. Ben Poitras with a second period power play goal. The difference in this one. Hold them up, boys. Aaron McCrary, the linesman, asks the far side wingers to back up as they give the warning to Green Bay. Faceoff is eventually won back by the Capitals as Elias will send it down to the near side corner. Gavin Moffitt will slow things down and backhand it over to his defenseman in Josh Player. The alternate captain for Green Bay will send that one up and out of play. I believe the faceoff should stay inside the zone. Sure enough, it will. 13:42 remains in the third. Capitals move forward about 40 feet as the offensive zone draw here to follow. Faceoff will be on that far side. Rather they take it to the near. Rayners Rollers never even flinched. He knew it was going to come to the near side. Rayners will be up against Mikey D'Angelo in the faceoff circle as Gavin Moffitt looks to his right from the crease. Hold him up, boys! Another faceoff warning. Gavin Nieto asks for the clock to be held for 1 second. Rather, they're going to have the clock reset. And they're put an extra second up on the board. D'Angelo and Rullers to go at it. Rullers wins the drawback. Capel continues it to Michaud. Michaud down to the corner now as Player intercepts. Player has the stick taken away by Chris Delaney. Delaney tried to feed it up to the point to Elias. Instead, it deflects out front, sits there for a moment. Elias unable to hold on the far side. The Capitals do hold their side of the ice. It comes to the near side to Delaney. Delaney across the ice now. Rullers towards the middle. I think he just had that umph of a pass back the other way. Delaney gets the stick up high on a player. No call will come. Poitras kind of flinched like he got the stick up high on him, and now Capel back the other way. Capitals in the midst of a change. Brink will chase after it, but D'Angelo had the easy path to it as it's up the far side wall on the stick of a Gambler player, and now Barloggi back inside the defensive zone. Elias on possession for Madison. Elias up the far side, trying to beat the defense that time was Diego Johnson, and Johnson eventually does get a piece of it in the corner. Henry pinches down. The Capitals try to keep things in the zone. Sure enough, they do. Diego backtracking towards the goal, and instead it comes back the other way. Barloggi turns things over, but Brink right there to recover for Madison. Henry on the near side gets things back to Brink. Brink avoids the body check, and he'll send it across the ice. We're gathering some speed as Noah Barloggi, but turned over by Diego Johnson. They were just on different pages, and the Capitals wanted possession. Barloggi will take over on the near side. Up the near side wall, it's Brink. Brink turns that one over as it just a little too much mustard on it. Skedaddles right over his stick to the stick of a Gambler player. Icing up coming on Green Bay. 12:06 remains, period number 3. 1-0 our score in favor of Green Bay. Charlie Russell arguing his point. There's Gerard Lamoureux. Lamoureux not hearing any of it. Face-off on the near side to the right of Moffitt upcoming. Russell played 7 games for Clarkson this season. University before joining this Gambler squad. Played in 60 games for Fargo last year as a member of the Force. Down in the corner, Max Nagel. Looking for options, kicks it up to himself for a moment and sends it over to the far side where Larson can take over for Green Bay. Rasmus Larson starts the rush moving forward as Hughes gets to the red line and he'll turn things over to the Capitals. Toby through neutral ice is a player for Green Bay, Charlie Russell, over the wall already at that point, but it hopped back over to avoid the too many penalty. Elias sends one towards the goal. It deflects off of Jack Brandt. High up on Jack Brandt. Brandt looks to be okay. Hong intercepts. Hong with the shot. Goes off the glass to the near side where Nagel can send it up to the point. Jamison back towards Hong in the corner. Nagel there for Madison. Nagel looking for options. Gets it up to the point for Elias. Elias sends one towards the goal. Deflected a couple of times. Hong thought about slamming it home. Just was unable to. Mackey will pinch on the near side to hold possession for Madison. Far side. Elias holds. Down in the corner. He tried to send it for Hong. Instead, it's Will Hughes back the other way for Green Bay, and now Madison. Hong on the far side looking for options, sends one towards the net. Rebound sat there. Lamb sends one towards the goal. Moffitt kicks it into the corner. Shutout remains at the moment for Green Bay as O'Malley will play it up that far side wall. No icing as it was deflected by Julian Lutz along the way. Rice up the near side wall. Long plays it to the far side now for Elias. The captain for the Caps gets things moving forward, and he'll just send it down after the initial pass came right back to him almost like a boomerang. Near side, Rice battling for it, trying to get possession for the Capitals, and eventually Lamb will find it. Lamb, Rice, and Long. This line was put together for a lot of games early on in the season, but they've been separated recently. Back together at the moment as this one comes all the way down. Icing on Green Bay. No icing, they say, as Michaud plays it to the far side. Michaud up the far side wall to Lamb. Lamb looking for options to the middle now for Rice. Rice through neutral ice and into the offensive zone looking for options. Has a couple players trailing there as Michaud finds his lane that time through the 5-hole. It looked like Moffitt falls back, but it was stuck between his legs. 10:03 remains, period number 3. 1-0 our score as the Capitals will have an offensive zone draw when we do return to action here. Should be a great one for Madison down the stretch as the Capitals have had some momentum here in period number 3. As we're taking a guess the jackpot here tonight. 10:03 remains, period number 3. We'll take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard presented by MadCapsHockey.com. MadCapsHockey.com, your one-stop shop on all things Caps this season. Youngstown falls to Des Moines, so that means second place still just 4 points away here in this one. Green Bay probably likes that as well because the town was able to even things last night. Dubuque with a 4-2 win over the U-17s, extending their lead of first place. Madison now 12 points back of first. In overtime, Waterloo takes down Chicago 5-4. Tri-City and Lincoln all square with 2 minutes to go in the third. Omaha falls to Sioux Falls 5-2. Fargo takes down Muskegon 3-1. Green Bay, of course, leading here in this one 1-0 as we're back underway. Humphrey into the offensive zone. Shot blocked by Finn Brink. Far side, Humphrey looking for options as Michaud taken down. Capitals to their third power play of the night. Humphrey to the penalty box. Jack Henry laughing at him along the way. Second tripping minor of the night to Humphrey as that sends Madison to power play number 3, 0 for 2 at the moment. 9:48 remains. Caps will take it on the near side. Rullers, Rice, Delaney, Brink, and Michaud. You'd have to imagine this is the line, this is the power play unit that Brnovic will slot into when he does return to action. Faceoff is won back by Green Bay. They're going to have a chance to clear, but Finn Brink wins the race over to that far side corner and just holds the puck up against the wall. Realizes that he's got more buddies on the ice than the other team does, with Ryan Humphrey in the penalty box for tripping on the far side. It's actually his second minor penalty of the night. Green Bay will have a chance to clear, but they're unsuccessful on both of their attempts as Delaney keeps possession for Madison. Delaney's had quite the period. He'd love to cap it off with a goal. Is Green Bay able to send this one all the way down? Musser will hold 30 seconds into the man advantage. Capitals will play things up the near side wall. Mikey D'Angelo with a pair of shorthanded goals this season put some pressure on Carson Musser, but the Capitals goaltender never worried. Michaud up the far side, drops back to Brink. Brink looks for options and he'll take it up that far side wall himself into the offensive zone. Rice down in the corner, Brink backhands it along to Delaney, who keeps it going for Rullers. Rullers back down to Delaney in the corner. Delaney with some pressure on him. Michaud far side now for Brink. Top of the far side circle. Brink back up top for Michaud. Michaud, Brink on the far side. Looking for options. Michaud back up top. Shot that time blocked by a shin pad of Green Bay. Rice tries to send it across for Brink. Instead, it's Green Bay's Russell whacking that one out towards neutral ice. Madison will start to rotate units. Sam Rice, the lone troop, remaining from power play unit number 1 as Jack Henry starts up the far side wall. Henry realized he has some real estate to get into the zone, thought about it and actually took it into the zone for a moment, but backtracks out towards neutral ice. A big hit there allows Madison possession on the far side. Brandt tried to feed it back up top for Henry. Henry near side now for Hong. Hong has Kuzma down low, and now it's a shot by Brandt that just was unable to get into the back of the net. It was Diego Johnson trying to get it out front to that bumper position, and Jack Brandt 10 to go on the power play for Madison. 0 for 3 on the night upcoming unless they're able to score on the next 5. Brandt into the offensive zone, near side Hong. Down into the corner now. Madison tries to continue there as it comes out towards neutral ice. It's a chance for Madison to start things back the other way. Kuzma. Brandt into the offensive zone now. Brandt down in the corner now. Kuzma. Kuzma has a couple of bodies on him. Sent down to the ice surface by Josh Player, but gets things back. Out front, chance there for Diego Johnson. Goes into the corner. Jamison back to Johnson. Johnson down low, has it roll off the end of his stick. Green Bay will try to clear. Icing up coming on Green Bay. And, of course, it will be blown dead. 7:15 to go in the third. You wonder if a timeout's upcoming from Leone and company on the Green Bay bench. Sure enough, it is. I see the tee get flashed by the head coach and general manager of the Green Bay Gamblers. So we'll get a whistle and a break in action. 7:15 to go in period number 3. 1-0 our score. A great time to remind you that our broadcast this evening is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Come and explore our unmatched selection of everyday high-quality products, all at low prices, and see how easy creating the space to match your taste can be. Discover your new Floor & Decor, now open in Monona and online at flooranddecor.com. Floor & Decor, thanks for supporting the broadcast. Face-off will be in the offensive zone to the left of the goaltender, Gavin Moffitt. When we do return to play, Capitals all gathering around associate head coach and assistant GM Tom Gilbert on the bench. As the Capitals will have the unit of Lamb, Long, and O'Donnell out there. Henry and Barloggi join them on the back end. Of course, you wonder if the bench will get shorter throughout the remaining parts of the game for Madison. Andy Brandt and company on the bench love to roll 4. They start out with line number 4 here after the timeout. Up the far side, down to the corner, Gallucci will just try to clear it out towards neutral, but I believe the linesman actually kind of got in the way of that, and it's the Capitals pinning a body up against the wall on the far side. Hughes sends a body up against the wall. Does the Capitals' O'Donnell. O'Donnell's laid a couple of big hits tonight. O'Donnell trying to poke that one. And it goes up to the point now. Gallucci's shot stopped out of midair and sits out front for a moment, but the Capitals are able to control and get things back the other way. Sent down in deep. Moffitt plays it up that far side wall. Lamb played the 5th most games in Capitals history. Just south of 150 in his career. Will go for a change now as Moffitt sends it up that far side wall. Beshin plays it off the wall to Gallucci, who achieves the red line and clears that one all the way down. Michaud backhands that one back for Madison, and he'll get it right back from his captain, Ethan Elias. Up the near side, it rainbows up all the way where it's fair caught by the defenseman Lucas Peterson, and the Capitals able to send that one down in deep. Peterson backtracks for it behind his own goal line. Rullers and Delaney put some pressure on. Capitals get possession. Rullers on the far side has it in his stick for a moment, and it rolls out. Elias just was unable to hold, kind of sucked down into the play a little bit as the Capitals have to backtrack, but a nice job by Michaud to intercept and start things back the other way. Onside of the Capitals as Rullers sends that one down in deep. Down in after it's Chris Delaney. He ties the player up from Green Bay and gets possession back for Madison. Capel. Now Elias back up top for Hong. Toby, far side, near side for Elias. Deflected a couple of times. Puck still loose in the slot. And it just goes into the glass on the near side as Green Bay okay with clearing it. Elias, far side. Delaney, one-time shot, deflects wide. Capel gets it back. Toby, down into the corner. Capitals start to make a couple of changes here as now fresh off the bench is Jamison. Jamison thought about it, takes it into the corner instead, feeds it out front, far side, Toby. Toby with a chance for his first USHL goal, gets it back. Hong up top in the high slot, takes it to the far side, thought about the backhand, instead cycles around. Green Bay has tired legs on the ice. Jamison on the near side looks to take advantage. Backtracks. Green Bay will have a chance to clear. Jamison holds with the glove. He's the next to play it, so no hand pass. Hong, near side now, Brandt. Brandt feeds it out front. Capel unable to slam it home. Hong looking for options. Capel being called to the bench for a change. He'll be on now as Max Nagel. Is this line completed now? Toby on the far side will hold for Madison. Now Nagel. Nagel with a shot. Rebound sits there for a moment. Moffitt hops on top of it for a whistle. 4:32 remains, period number 3. 1-0 our score. Madison with another long stint in the offensive zone with nothing to show for it. Nice nifty moves there by Max Nagel. Shot, though, goes right into the logo on the chest of Gavin Moffitt, who holds for a whistle. Face-off to come on the far side to the left of Gavin Moffitt in goal. Fresh legs for both teams onto the ice. Once again, that top unit for Madison started that and kept the puck down in that offensive zone. The face-off won back by Madison so cleanly. Noah Barloggi unable to capture that one in the offensive end. The Capitals have to take it back just inside their own defensive blue. Kuzma into the offensive zone. Has it poked off of his stick by Player, and Green Bay once again sends it out towards neutral. Johnson to the far side, now backhanded down in deep by Brink. Johnson chases after it. Moffitt plays it up that far side wall. Brink intercepts. Madison once again trying to start that offensive cycle that they've done the past couple of shifts here and keep things in the offensive zone. Sure enough, Finn Brink able to do that. Sends it down to the corner now. Kuzma just skates over it, and Player tries to send it out. Barloggi on the far side. Shot redirected along the way. Hits a rafter. Change will be allowed. Barloggi and Poitras have some words to exchange to one another. Green Bay has a couple of players that just go grab Poitras and pull him back, basically saying, hey, buddy, we don't need that. It's actually Humphrey in there at the moment. Poitras on the bench in front of me. Saw the 3. I thought it was a 2. Instead, it was a 7. Faceoff will come on the near side to the right of the goaltender, Gavin Moffitt, who still has a shutout at the moment. Perfect on the evening. Capitals looking to change that. Up the far side wall, it's Karam's up and out of play. Another offensive zone draw to follow for Madison. As that one ramped up off the glass and made its way to the rafters here at Bob Suter's Capital Ice Arena. Face-off will be on the far side to the left of Moffitt in goal. They actually wonder if they should tank it to the far side. Looks like they'll remain on that far side instead of taking it to the near. Lamb, O'Donnell, Long, Elias, and Michaud. Face-off one back. Long with a quick shot. Rebound sits there. Capitals trying to slam it home. O'Donnell had his helmet ripped off by Green Bay's player there as he was going for the loose change. Face-off will remain in the offensive zone. Moffitt had the initial one. I think everybody realized that he wasn't confident that he still held on to it. So face-off will continue in the offensive zone for Madison with 3:41 to go in the third. Lamb, Long, O'Donnell, Elias, and Jamison for Madison. D'Angelo in the top unit for Green Bay. Hold him up, boys. And we got a warning. O'Donnell a bit too antsy. Face-off eventually won forward by Madison. Lamb has it in the feet. O'Donnell sends one just wide. Goes into the near side corner to gather possession. Jamison there as well. Long towards the slot there. Lamb waits for it. Shot into the glove. Gavin Moffitt holds on for a whistle. 3:29 remains. Period number 3. 1-0 our score. Face-off will be in the offensive zone. Far side to the left of Moffitt in net. Oddly enough, Moffitt in his first season here in the USHL. You always think of those first season guys as young guys, but Moffitt, of course, played last season with the Wisconsin Wendigo up in Eagle River. The NAHL is a face-off one forward. Moffitt actually older than Adam Gajan, the draft pick of the Chicago Blackhawks. Shot, rebound, sits there. Nice play by Jack Henry to avoid the pressure, and now Madison has numbers back the other way. Brandt into the offensive zone towards the middle, just hoping someone was there. Diego Johnson had some speed to get there. Unsuccessful on getting it, though, is on the far side. James Hong on possession. Hong up top now for Kuzma. Near side for Henry. Henry, far side now for Kuzma. Musser waits on his hash marks. Down low now for Johnson. 4 forwards out there for Madison. Johnson leaves there for Brandt. Brandt looking to feed it back to Johnson and eventually will. Johnson up the near side wall, turned over, and now Green Bay will come back the other way with 2:45 to go in the period. All the way down where Musser leaves for Kuzma. Kuzma up that far side. Will just chip it into the offensive zone and beat everyone to it, but just wasn't able to catch it on a flat edge. as it'll be up the near side wall and a stick of Rasmus Larson. Larson almost tripped up there by Sam Rice. Larson sends one towards the goal. It's Jack Brandt behind his own goal, getting things over to Michaud. If the Capitals are to get possession in the offensive end, it looks like it'll be Carson Musser heading to the bench. Instead, he has to wait as Chris Delaney and company start up ice for Madison. Delaney drops back there for Michaud. Michaud, far side, into the offensive zone. Sam Rice, there goes Musser. Shot from the far end. Musser will actually go and play that one as he's at the top of his circles. And he'll go back into his cage. Thought about just staying out, it looked like, for a moment, as Nagel spins back. 1:45. You have to imagine that Musser's coming as soon as they get over center ice, as that was the move last time. Michaud drops back for Nagel. Nagel into the offensive zone now. Splits the defense. Nagel on the near side. Musser heads to the bench. Far side now with a shot. It looked like it was going to be an attempt from Delaney. Instead, it's Humphrey now looking for a goal here for Green Bay. Rice takes him into the corner, lays the hip check. And Green Bay's O'Malley at the far side will send one towards the goal while his players are still in the zone. This is offside if Green Bay doesn't touch up. Sure enough, they do. 1:12 to go. Madison has to start up ice. Caps trail 1-0. Delaney up the far side, drops back there. It'll be the player Jack Henry on possession. Henry into the offensive zone. Henry with the shot, goes wide. Henry had the game-tying and game-winning goal last Saturday in Sioux City. Henry down low for Rice. Rather, that's Diego Johnson. Diego looking for options. Diego up top now for Henry. Far side break, one-time shot, kicked into the corner. Beshin will try to clear. Eventually Katzen will. It'll be icing. It gets there, sure enough it will. Green Bay unable to make a change. So you have to imagine that the Capitals will leave it where they are at the moment. Gilbert and Brandt talking it over. Looks like, I'm going to take a guess that they're going to take a timeout. Sure enough, a timeout does come for the Capitals. 36.4 seconds remain, period number 3. 1-0 our score. Here's that last one-time chance from Finn Brink. Got in on goal. Moffitt kicked it into the corner with that left pad. You wonder who the 6 troops on the ice are going to be for Madison. Trailing 1-0. Not completely unfamiliar are the Capitals to this situation. Capitals have done a good job with the extra attacker on this season. I can think of a couple of times that Madison was able to score. Madison was shut out 1-0 back on October 27th. It's the only time that they were shut out this season. That one came in overtime against the U17s. They responded well the next night, but the Capitals don't have a next night tomorrow. They have to wait until Friday night with a date with the best team in the Western Conference. Face-off to come in the offensive zone. Brandt, Johnson, Henry, Hong, Long, and Kuzma for Madison. Aiden Long had an extra attack goal in Muskegon right after Thanksgiving to force overtime against the Lumberjacks. He's out there now with this unit. Hong to go in to take the draw against Hughes. The face-off is tied up in the feet of Hughes and eventually recycle. 17 seconds to go. Green Bay tries to go forward. Madison will have one last rush in him if they can get possession, but Russell and company will just send things down. Henry will have to spin back up ice quickly here, and the Capitals will try to go. Diego Johnson's going to be behind the defense. Diego Johnson's tripped up. No time remains. Is it a penalty shot? They say no. It's a tripping call, and no time remains. Time expires. Hold him up. Hold him up. They're going to chat it over. Was he clear? I think Diego Johnson was clear. At the moment, Charlie Russell just went into the wrong penalty box. They're going to put some time back on the clock. How much? Unknown at the moment. It's going to be point something. I don't think it's going to be a long number. Ethan Elias begging for the penalty shot there. I've been told that in practice, Diego Johnson was impressive on the shootout attempts. They want the face-off on the near side. Still no time on the clock at the moment. Here's that chance from Johnson. Johnson tripped up. 1 second put on the score clock. Kuzma, I think, is going to take the draw. 2.9 seconds, they say. I believe that's what the referee was holding up. Kuzma, Brandt, Long, Johnson. Depending on how much time's left, the play might not be for Kuzma to take the draw. 1.8 seconds put on the clock. That's the right number. Hong will take the draw. Try to win it back to Kuzma, I believe, is the move here, and try to slam it home. Hold him up, boys. A warning given to Green Bay. Capitals trying to win it back. Not enough here tonight as the Capitals score, but it's after the buzzer, and a melee ensues after the whistle as well. Referees telling the benches to hold up where they are. Russell told as well, stay in the penalty box for one more second. There's still some pushing and shoving. Aiden Long has his helmet ripped off, and he'll shove the player down. Maybe setting the tone for matchups 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 between these two squads. Aiden Long separated from the body of the player there. Josh Player and Green Bay take home victory here tonight as the Capitals fall 1-0 in this one. I'm sure there'll be a couple penalties after the fact here tonight. We'll try to have those for you throughout. Capitals fall 1-0 in this one. You don't win any games when you only give up one goal and you can't win. I mean, that's a tough one. You need to score goals to win hockey games. That's where it's at. As the crowd salutes, the Caps salute the crowd here at Cap Ice. Caps fall 1-0. Madison not successful in collecting a couple of points here tonight. As Madison falls to 15-9, 4-2 on the season, back to 500 win-loss wise. Still in 5th place here in the Eastern Conference. Capitals return home at the end of the month to face off against Tri-City. Dollar Beer Night presented by Coors Light, as well as a great promotion What If Night presented by MG&E the following evening. Capitals back at home 26th and 27th, on the road next week in Fargo. For our great Rush Media crew, my name's Drew Steele. Thanks for joining us this evening. Capitals fall 1-0 to Green Bay.